All right, we're here with Dork Lords. Here's me starting it off here.
What?
I'm Paul Bunton.
Matt Rice.
Matt Rice, yes. And we're here to talk about Logan. The movie just came out. That is the final chapter episode in Logan's life. If you haven't seen it,
That's true.
I just spoiled it for you.
Right. And spoilers.
Yes.
All right, good. So, yes, there are spoilers here. Great. Okay.
Yeah. So, it's some people say, and I haven't read the comics that it's that people are saying it's based on, but there certainly have been comics that have been about Logan later in his life.
Old Man Logan.
Yep, Old Man Logan, and a number of the characters that appear in this, like the girl. She has appeared in the comics too.
X-23.
Yeah, and there's Caliban too, I believe. So yeah, there's a number of characters that exist in other, but I'm not sure if this is in that world or not. But since I certainly enjoyed it, what do you think, sir?
Yeah, I really liked it. I liked I felt that it was a Western with basic, they even showed snippets of Shane. And they quote Shane. Right. They quote Shane over his grave at the end. There's a bit where the horses get loose and they have to round them up. She's riding on a little dime store horse at one point, and they're living in. It's like the desert. They're in the Southwest. They end up going to North Dakota. So there's kind of the sense of the old cowboy, kind of like Unforgiven maybe, or the old gunfighter who's kind of called upon one last time, one last ride. He even says when he puts a little coin into the dime store horse, he's like, one last ride.
Yeah.
And so...
Okay, yeah, I guess, I've been resistant to that because I feel like, geez, is everything a Western? But, I guess these motifs, are more strongly in Westerns.
He being Logan, and then also Patrick Stewart as Professor X.
Yes.
Really moving performances.
Yeah.
I thought they were both, particularly for, a superhero movie where I'm a guy with a bunch of powers. A lot of times they don't necessarily go into depth and character, emotions and behind them. And
yes.
This movie takes its time.
Yeah.
With that. It's like, you know what? These are both damaged people. And they're both nearing the end of their lives. It's kind of an elegy.
Yeah, one of the very interesting aspects of them that I don't feel like you see. Certainly not with characters that you see, in their height of their power. But Professor Xavier, to the point where he's a danger to other people, where he has his seizures and his power is destroying other people. And Wolverine is the only person who has the stamina to be able, or the constitution to be able to withstand and help him. But, he's at this stage where he's not completely himself, so you get to see the character, fallen and damaged, and the same, of course, is true of Logan. So that's a great aspect of seeing, people, because obviously we all decay.
And the idea, the fact that it's Logan's adamantium that is basically poisoning him.
Yeah, right.
His regeneration factor is slowing down, and so it's basically, ever since the adamantium was put on his bones, his body has been regenerating itself just to cope with the metal in his body, and now that process takes its toll on him so much that he's dying basically. So the thing that made him this fighting machine is killing him. So it's a nice little analogy there,
right? Now, in terms of the characters that, if they, obviously this is doing fairly well at the box office, even though it's an R-rated movie, and not quite as good as
Deadpool.
Yep, not quite as good as Deadpool apparently, but probably good enough so people are like, oh, geez,
much
better than Apocalypse.
It's a well-earned R, by the way.
Yes,
there are lots of head skewering.
Yes, lots of violence.
That goes on.
So conceivably, I think they could continue the story since you have all these kid mutants. I don't know that they will. And it's a big question whether or not. Okay, what about all these other? Is this happening in the same universe that all these other shows, these movies happened? I think people might be fine with them leaving him behind, but who knows?
They mention
I think
the
a lot of
Statue of
them are
Liberty.
dead. Yeah.
They mentioned the Statue of Liberty moment from the first X-Men movie, I think. Is when he goes and he confronts Magneto in the Statue of Liberty. There's they bring out a couple of different things that are like, oh, yeah, that's from earlier episodes. So there are at least some episodes that are referenced in this.
True.
Plus, there's the comic books.
Right. The comic books apparently created, though, for not even the actual... I didn't realize
they're not the actual comic. Yeah, so to avoid any kind of proprietary right issues, they actually redrew comic books.
I don't know about that. I think they just wanted to create something for the particular...
Okay. It seemed like they just easily just hold up them. But whatever. They didn't. They redrew.
Probably to match the story that's occurred before. Since the comics, you wouldn't necessarily have that. So they had Joe Quesada, I believe is his name, who drew a comic specifically for the show. And
it's actually really integral to the plot. It's not just like it's a throwaway thing. I mean, it's part
of the world.
It's a meta thing. Yeah. So, and you do see like some of the little kids that he saves. One of the kids has a Wolverine toy. He's actually holding a Wolverine doll.
Oh, I missed that.
With the full costume. He's got the little doll in his hand. And the comic, it turns out, so in comic terms, there's this place where the mutants can be free, and it's called Eden.
Right.
And Wolverine, Logan, there's this whole plot. You have to take the kids to Eden. And he thinks that's a real thing, and then he looks in the comic book, sees it, is like, oh, you guys just made this up. But actually, the kids took the comic book and then actually used it as their point to meet.
Right.
And so Eden is a real place, even though it was also originally in the comic. So it's kind of an interesting... They use the comics in a way that actually accentuates the plot.
Right.
Kind of interesting that way.
It was a little neat the way that that guy figured out, this is where they're going. They had to write down this location, and thankfully they left it there so I could see where to go to.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like an address; it was coordinates.
Yes, coordinates.
Like, is that the easiest way to describe something for a kid? Even 20 north, 30 west. I know where that is. I'm talking like a kid mutant. One thing about the kid mutants, I should say. It's a very touching story,
yes.
And the kids are freed from this lab, a horrible place, and they should, thank goodness, saved.
Yes. But
they all basically grew up in a lab.
Yes.
Including X-23 Laura.
Yeah.
They basically get free at the end. They kill some folks.
Yep.
She definitely kills a whole bunch of folks.
Yes, she
does. Beheads some folks. Now they want to kill her, but still, she's allowed to kill the store owner just because he said, "Hey, you got to pay for those Pringles."
She stopped him.
She didn't actually do it, but she was going to.
Yeah,
she was like, "I'm about to."
Kill him.
So they're psychopaths. My point is, they're psychopaths. They don't. They're these little walking psychopath kids, and now there's a group of them. And they all get together, and we're saved them, thank goodness. And now they can destroy the world.
Apparently, they... part of the reason why they're being sought after is because they didn't want to be the soldiers. So they had to make the second Wolverine.
Sure.
To be able to carry out orders without...
organs.
And organs, yeah.
Scoop out organs.
Yeah.
Manually.
Orders without going against them. So, they're trying to survive.
I know. They're just trying to survive. But there is a sense of you could easily turn that into the sequel would just be a new Legion of Doom-ish. I know it's DC, but whatever. There's look, there's a whole bunch of superpowered villains that live in Canada and just kill everyone. Anyway, all right. But no, they're good kids.
I thought they went over the other border.
No, I think they went to Canada.
Okay.
I think that was the idea. They were up in the Dakotas.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm wrong.
An also touching little moment. I liked the ending when she being Laura does the eulogy, and she basically just cites, quotes Shane, and then she turns the cross into an X, believes it there for him as though he's an X-Men,
right?
And leaves it as that. And that's a kind of it's a very, and again, a Western motif there.
Yeah.
Into the sunset.
Yeah, bury the guy.
Bury the thing with the thing. very sad. The moment when Charles is killed by the clone
Yes, that is very sad.
of Logan.
Yes.
And it's pretty touching moment when Logan is like being very. He's like, it's really important for him to tell Professor X before he dies, it wasn't me.
Yes.
Like, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. He just keeps saying it over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, just so you know.
Yes.
I know it looked like me, but it wasn't me. I mean, that was that was pretty touching. That I would say. I thought that the clone of Logan was maybe one step too far. If I were to put maybe we can talk now a little about things that maybe we didn't like quite as much. I felt like. Okay.
He shouldn't have been there at all, you're saying?
Yeah, or just have a different villain thing. Like, I get it. Logan has this, violent nature, and he can't escape it in some ways.
Right.
I felt like that's what that was trying to show us. Like, oh, see, there's this side of him that's evil, or not evil, but violent, and he can't get it. He has to fight himself. Like, he's got to. But I didn't need that necessarily that spelled out that way.
I don't know. To me, the point of it was like, oh, let's try to make this guy who's just merciless and who can destroy anybody. Okay, Logan, working pretty good. Well, nah, he's not doing it. Well, let's try. We can start him from a child. Let's get this girl. Well, that's not working either. Okay, you know what? We figured it out. Cut out the part of the brain that thinks.
I just feel like it was...
So it's like, okay, we've perfected it. Now here's what we've been trying to do the whole time, trying to kill you. And that's...
I figured like it was a bit of a clunky metaphor. That's what I took it as. Like, I get the notion... I thought it was enough that, oh, you know what they did? They used your DNA to make this girl. And now she's your daughter.
That part wasn't clunky?
I thought that was not clunky. I felt like that at least like, oh, it's his daughter.
So the fact that they would try again, that's clunky.
Yeah, the extra, like, oh, and by the way, here's another clone of you, but this one's you, and now it'll try to kill you. I don't know, it just felt weird. I felt a little like, I gotta fight myself, I get it, okay. Like, he's fighting his inner demons. It's kind of felt, that's what it felt like to me. Just a little on the nose, that's all, in my mind.
Okay.
Obviously, it was...
okay.
All right. He doesn't have to be.
I know.
Just for saying.
I'm not going to fight you, because
Okay.
I think it's valid what you're saying. I just don't agree.
The other... This is a very minor point. But bothered me for like 3 seconds, it bothered me. They're like, oh, yeah, this adamantium bullet will kill... he's carrying it around to commit suicide.
Right.
Which, interesting. But then, so Laura uses it to kill the clone.
Yeah.
But the movie that they don't want to talk about, what is it? Wolverine Origins.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, okay. Well, he gets shot with the adamantium bullet in the head.
Oh, does he?
And all it does is makes him forget.
Oh.
So he's quite alive. It's just, it affected his memory center of his brain.
Oh.
So, does it kill him? Or does it make him forget? Obviously, it killed the clone.
Yeah.
But it was just seemed like the effect was not the same. That's all. It was just like in one movie they decided it'll make you stupid, and the other one is like, oh, that kills you. So whatever, blah blah blah. Just they probably were just like, that movie doesn't exist. We're not going to talk about that.
That movie sucks.
That movie was horrible. It was the worst. It was the worst X-Men movie in the group. Really,
Was it?
I would say maybe Apocalypse is, but I don't think X-Men Apocalypse.
That's not the one where
is
they
as bad
sewed up his mouth, is it?
Yep, that's the sew up mouth.
So they've forgotten that movie. That movie doesn't.
exist. So in the actual the canon now, adamantium bullets kill Wolverine. They don't just make him stupid. So yeah, I was very taken with the performances. It is so unlike any other Hugh Jackman performance of Wolverine.
Yeah, I was going to say that I haven't really felt like this Wolverine is the Wolverine that I think of in the comics for a number of reasons. But they've done a good job of drawing the character. I mean, for me, I was reading the comics before he really took off in popularity. So this whole idea to make him basically he's the only character in the movies that works, really. Well, except for Professor Xavier, which is all you had in this one.
And you also had the parental thing in some ways. Like, Professor X was more or less
right.
kind of a father image to Wolverine, and Wolverine's a father image to X-23.
Right, but even though I don't necessarily feel like that's the comic version, I feel like they did a great job with this, especially. in terms of the character, really, had very strong aspects and all that. Even though it's quite a little different than what I imagined him. But it's good.
That scene too, where it's a simple scene, but they sit down at the dinner table with
The family.
the guy from Coming to America and ER.
Yes.
Eric LaSalle.
Yes.
All right. I was like, who is that guy? Oh my God, it's the ER guy. All right. Anyway, they sit down at the dinner table with him, and they're talking about. So Professor X and Wolverine are like, oh yeah, I used to run a school,
Right.
and he was in it, and he dropped out. He got kicked out a few times, and like that. That's kind of a nice little touching. They're just talking about themselves as though they're regular folks and not, oh yeah, by the way, shing shing, I can do weird things and I can control things with my mind. It was just like two people reminiscing about their past.
Yeah, there were just so many good touches in the whole thing. And something I keep forgetting I haven't said in this particular thing is keep the story small. That's the best thing to do. It's just about a guy who's dealing with the end of his life and trying to protect the people that he cares about, even discovering somebody in his life that he didn't know that he might care about. It's a small story. And so they meet a family, and it's like, yeah, well, we're just people like you, eating and doing regular jobs, even though we have powers. But we don't need to talk about that. So just
I also like the villain, the Reaver with the mechanical hands.
Oh, right, yeah, because he probably wasn't a mutant, but he just had the special ability or whatever.
I can't think of his name, but but he was. I thought he was well drawn out.
He was. Yeah.
He didn't come off as just completely evil.
Right, yeah, because he had this thing where he was always telling them how much he admired them because he grew up with them.
Yeah,
but then he didn't stop them from from hurting them or killing them. It's just like, wow, I really like you.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
you were great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I liked. So he had a good villain. You had good portrayals from the heroes. Yep. It had a fun Western arc, and if you're going to put Logan in a Western, that seems fitting somehow.
Probably in many ways more than putting him in a samurai movie.
Sure. Yes. So good stuff. It was definitely better than X-Men Apocalypse. It's the best X-Men movie in quite some time.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really. Yeah. I can throw the other ones away.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, like X2 was pretty cool.
I guess the first class stuff I kind of like. So.
Yeah. Agreed. That's some good stuff. X2 actually had another Wolverine saving kids, saving the kids in the school.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know. There's like a saving kids motif there, but whatever. So basically, if you want a good movie, have Wolverine saving kids.
There you
go. Wow. Anyway, so we liked it. Good stuff. Logan. Yep. Go see it. If you haven't already, you probably have it. Watching this.
So subscribe, so you can get notifications of more
Dorkly things. We talk about Legion.
Sure.
We're doing the Legion TV show. So we have X-Men.
Yep.
The most powerful one of all time, arguably, whatever, perhaps. Or is it all in his head? All right. No, we're not. Okay, anyway. So there's lots of stuff. Game of Thrones, we're doing all kinds of silly stuff. I have just made him crazy. Okay. Shing, shing. We'll see you guys next time.
Yep.
Bye now.